while I was skimming through, I was saying, this is just for me. I just want to learn a little bit or see the research he's done. That's so cool. And this is what I stumbled upon. So, and it's also a guidance in general. It's one of the key things that I had to deal with even these days.
Like the sexual objectification of others.
Oh my God.
Others as
oh my God, I didn't even know that.
Body.
That he would say that.
Oh yeah, that's it. This is not about the,
Okay. So that is how the energy of Raphael blocks your path here. But remember, what we need to do is integrate this power, okay? Because remember, sentinels or demons, they are not your enemy.
See, I just backed it up and it went to something with sexual energy because it's important. It's what causes a lot of crime on the planet, right? And this is the whole point. It's part of life. But I didn't know. I stumbled on that. He was talking. I just saw the part he's going to say within a couple of minutes. Just check it out. About
they
the
think that they're protecting you or helping you out.
That's it.
I went into that in a great detail in my previous video in this series. So I won't go into too much detail here. Watch my previous video if you want to know more about that.
Yeah, it's going linear.
Demons usually develop in the psyche to trauma responses or survival.
People might think the way he's like stopping and thinking before he talks and stumbling a little. I've tried teaching and the topics, he's like doing a whole reteaching. You know how hard it is what he's doing? I know because I've tried, especially in my traumatic life or like survival fight or flight, I can't do it. See, I admit, that's how you know you're smart and you use your intuition. When you know, I could try, I do some videos that I teach, but I don't teach only teaching. I always teach through trauma and through testimonial, meaning I compare it because my biggest challenge is like the darkness he's talking about there, about the dark path of shadow work. My shadow work is, because my intent is so pure, my shadow work, and I'm so sensitive physically, my shadow work actually gets projected into actual people, police, systems, because the system does attack us, but very discreetly. They don't do what they're doing in Gaza usually, but with me, they made an exception because they love to silence dissent.
Nowadays,
and I am so strong as an individual that's weak, poor, and in some way sick, not in the head, but sick in the allergies or whatever sensitivity. So I am my shadow part of source self is just projecting literally on 3D my shadow work. So this is like, I've concretized what I tried to do in a long video of 30 minutes. Now I'm leaving it less than 5 minutes. But let's let him tell you in his words. And even though he seems to be not stumbling, but anyways, I'm just saying. Listen.
Survival responses or to try and protect oneself. So Raphael thinks it's protecting you from delusion, from fantasy.
Yeah, that's
from
what the whole
false
world.
belief.
It's funny. The
Think
whole world
of
is
like
like
a materialistic scientist.
Exactly. I stumbled on this, but just even because I know a lot of people watching my channel are so materialistic and so blocked, their energy is so blocked, that even though it's true that science does not even exist, it's just analyzing nature on a 3D way. That's what science is. It's an illusion. Science is the illusion. Thought is all that exists. Light is compressed, reflected light, and you see it in a hologram. You could create a hologram out of light. And if you condense light more, but you don't have the nuclear, not even CERN could condense light more to make it become matter, that's God. Only God could do that. I don't think there's any reactor they could invent that could do the act of God. Maybe from splitting one particle, but not a system of particles. That only God could create consciousness, because it's us playing with an illusion. So it's really God that can't reflect truth. So he's talking about something more basic, but it's more important to understand.
I'm even correcting myself. I'm adding to what he's saying, and now I'm correcting myself, because the moment you would stop that God particle in a system, you would decompose reality. If a path of anybody searching to connect with God and knowing the vibrancy and the flow of freedom of God, and you don't do it through an avatar system or a pristine material body, that's what even Sadhguru says. You just leave your body. Never mind that you leave the body and you're technically dead to the avatar. but you could decompose the whole universe and cause like a giant black hole or a supernova or bigger, like a universe collapse, which is, people say every certain time it does happen that the universe recollapses into a inner bang. Instead of big bang on the outside, it's like a black hole bang, something like that. I just don't know where I heard about that, but it makes sense. I think a book I read, I forgot the name. It was an amazing book. It was a guy that studied university, but also was advanced in yoga, and he just wrote about it, and it was amazing. Awakening the Life Force. That was the title of the book. Amazing. I lent that book. I never saw it back, and the person didn't even appreciate it. So that's the mistakes we make on 3D. That was an amazing book. So Awakening the Life Force, Gopi Krishna or something like that. Gopi Raj, I don't know, something like that. But Gopi something, I think. Just look it up. That is an amazing book. So that tells you like the whole story, but from the Vedic type and even the class. There's two types of paths in yoga. Some are a bit different. I had studied them just out of curiosity. I forgot most of the names, most of the offshoots. But all my life, that's why they say people are entitled. Yes, you're entitled on 3D when you have money and weapons and police systems. But when you do, all you do is search for God, the ultimate love, the ultimate power, you find the real love and power. And if people are so naive that they think it's a smart thing to hurt someone like me, again, I wouldn't hurt someone now, even insult on purpose, if I could go back in time, if I could turn. But imagining an emissary of God is not a good idea. That's all I'm saying. And I've said, and I'm going to say not worse, but just explaining it from a different polarized point of view. Because I'm still very much physical and polarized, even though I don't dwell in my shadow work. All my shadows are still impure, even though I'm already bypassed the top one. Or else by now I would have done some kind of act that was allegedly considered criminal. But the reason why I don't is not because I'm scared to do it, police. It's because it doesn't make sense. It makes you weak. And if you believe in it, that's why I autocorrect and take out the videos and show signs of maturity and signs of compromise. But you're not giving me any signs. Or maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen any. Being gassed in my apartment at 3 in the morning, I'm sorry if I repeat it in this video, is not a sign of compromise. And just because you did it the other day doesn't mean that you have to show me you could do it silently while I'm sleeping. I know that. That's what all darkness is part of the darkness. It does it while you're not able to see it. Because of course, even physically you could destroy me or kill me, but the thing is, you don't want the bad reputation. You want everything. You want to do the crime and not pay the price for it. I don't think that's possible. In my case, maybe on 3D, but the karma, I don't think it's possible to erase the karma. It doesn't matter who you sent. The intent is who gives the intent to do the crime. And crime always gets punished, sooner or later.
That's for the people that say, I wonder how your IQ is. Well, if you could even understand 20% of what I just said, you'll realize it's deeper than... I don't want to compare myself to it because I don't want to insult other people's work, which is more time consuming than mine. Mine, I only once in a while make you glimpse and even show you how I could compulse people even without trying. Imagine I tried to hurt people. Oh my God. And I don't mean physically. I mean just in thought. I don't even want to go there because the price I'd pay would be, I don't want to give myself too many secrets, but that's the secret of reality. Reality is that we're all interconnected. And what we do matters. So that's why, in a way, I take responsibility for what's happening to me now. That's horrific and monstrous. But it was created by me, unintentionally, obviously. It was put on 3D. I'm too powerful to dwell, even when I thought I was in love and I was missing a girl. And then after a while, I said, what am I doing? It's stupid. It's babyish. So the same thing with saying, well, why should I fear the police? They're supposed to be there to help me. Not that I think I could take the police on, just that they have no reason and they can't make me feel guilty about things that I can't be guilty about because they're the ones that are guilty. The whole government tries to twist that thing that we're doing something wrong. It's all lies, obviously. Not all, but most of them. Everything we see on TV is all lies on top of lies on top of lies. But it's the way the structure of the shadow becoming bigger before the Satya Yuga comes in a few years, that it'll all be over. Everybody's going to be compulsed like you see now. Everybody is speaking truth. Just like the BBC, they could have hidden that they doctored and they spliced the video about Trump. Even though Trump now, I'm not saying whatever opinion you have on him, the fact that you have to lie that much with the alleged biggest company of broadcasting, and even the CTV News showed it. So that's how you see that it's not only officers undercover near me that are compulsed to say that they are undercover. it's also the whole planet. Everybody is going to be compelled to be good and truthful. Why fight that when it's to everyone's benefit? So let's just further watch into this.
It just denies anything immaterial because one cannot sense it with the physical senses. That materialist scientist would likely be like, oh, well, I don't want to be deluded by fantasy and false belief. Well, that's what Raphael tries to protect you. Whoops. Hopefully that wasn't super loud. That's what Raphael tries to protect you from. It's a skeptical guardian saying like, oh, don't trust your intuitions. They'll deceive you.
And they could sometimes.
But the key is that sometimes that is true. Your intuition can.
I would further say what he's saying and saying they don't deceive you. They're just your biological blockages are interpreted, or your ego fools you to interpret. Here, I don't know where he talks about the ego is almost like a polarization for matter, and it's forgetting. It's delusion. Matter in itself is a big deluded state. I'm teaching it a bit differently. His is more simplistic, and I'm not saying I'm better. Please, people, don't interpret that. But on 3D, look how many subscribers he has. I don't even have the last part, like 695. I don't even have 95, and never mind K. I don't even have 9,500, like 1,000, which is 95K, right? But he has 695K, but he's explaining it because he's doing a lot of work. He's explaining the whole story, even if you're naive or young, spiritually young, like meaning awakening on the path of spirituality. Spirituality, you can't force it. Some things you could, but you have more stress and you have more projections of your demons. That's why Jesus, if you see a modernized version of Jesus, it's amazing, that movie. It's that guy that does, I think it's the guy that did the evil guy in the first Spider-Man, the Goblin. What's his name? I'm not going to try to force my memory here. I know I could. Dafoe, William Dafoe. He is an amazing actor, and he did. Just watch that movie if you want a psychedelic trip. Without, I'm not suggesting drugs or LSD or DMT. Just have a glass of wine with food, or just meditate and then watch that movie. You're gonna you're gonna feel good, man. That's gonna motivate you to really meditate and deal with your demons. Because even they say neti, when you think you've challenged your demons, that's why I keep apologizing to Apopex and the police and taking out videos, police Apopex. Not out of weakness, out of strength, because I'm beyond fearing that you'll punish me because you could. Of course you could. That's how you know I'm not delusional. And you could come up with more laws to further punish me. And I agree with you. It's going to give you satisfaction, a lot. But the price is more than what Carey Price paid for being part of the Canadians when the Montreal police was shitting on me and that they had to go down. And now, that's another thing. Just look at the past. The days now that you didn't actually, I don't want to go there. Just notice what happens to the Montreal Canadiens. I support them actually now. That's why I'm speaking. I love to see them win. They play fantastic. They deserve to win. But does the energy, the aura of the political system that has a bit of a morphic consciousness, does Fadi and everybody else in the Quebec government and the Montreal government that knows about me, everybody that's in anything of status in Montreal knows about me. Even the Maxi people know about me, the Metro people, I don't want to go on. And that's the corruption. It shouldn't be that way, that someone is persecuted and the people know. And the police has a guilty look. I mean, young officers around me have a guilty look. Police, compared to 6 years ago when you had like a bugging me attitude, now you're guilty because you see you're bringing me to the brink of death. And even the ones that are a bit bullies, I don't think police officers, most of them, I think 90%, don't want to hurt anybody. They just want to show a bit in a bully way, but a legal gang system character. I think every officer has a bit of that shadow work to do. My opinion, police, I'm not judging. And even me, I have that God complex. Duh, we are God. So the moment you try to reconnect to that power, if you interpret it with ego, you think you're allowed, like me, asking for millions, even billions. It's not that I don't technically deserve a few million. It's that I shouldn't be even saying that. But I say it just as an example. By your laws that you're punishing me out of nothing at all. Who's ever heard of that band? That they had a song called Making Love Out of Nothing at All. You're making conflict with me, Apopex Police, out of nothing. I'm not hurting you. I'm not taking you to court. I'm not doing demonstrations in front of the new Apopex building, which I could. I don't know, because the laws are changing, which I probably can't, and you could probably kick me out if I do. But I'm saying is I'm not doing any of that. I'm saying this video, why? Because you allow the police to make systems of gassing me, and also you don't warn me when you do extermination. So that's why I'm denouncing you, Apopex. So this is what I mean, is until you stop, I'm compelled to tell truth, because I live only on truth. I'm like an intuition that cannot be stopped. When you awaken the higher force, maybe you don't like it, so my shadow side, because I'm so pure, my dark side just manifests through your hatred towards me. And hatred for what? For trying to protect my life? For trying to survive? For saying the truth? Maybe. That's what the world is. Truth is a crime. So, truthfully, let's go back to the video temporarily. I'm going to stop at 15 minutes.
Deceive you. But when the intellect rules alone, it blinds itself. So integrating Raphael, when you integrate Raphael, you no longer deny or doubt all intuition. You learn to discern it. In other words, you begin to understand that intuition does exist. An immaterial realm does exist, and we can connect to it. But not every internal or intuitive impulse is literally true.
See, it says impulse, not...
Many are symbolic.
Yeah.
And appear through symbol and metaphor. And so, instead of killing it by going, no, that doesn't exist, it's all bullshit, you use doubt in a precise and healthy way. Not by doubting everything, but using doubt as a power of discernment. So, when you integrate Raphael's power, when you add Raphael to your dark army or dark family or dark orchestra, that's how you should think of it. There's a dark army, a dark family, or a dark orchestra.
Okay, that's
where
only
right
in the
now
video.
it's all chaotic, right? Those powers are turned against you. They're conflicting with each other. They're impeding you. But if you organize it like you would organize an orchestra, so every thing is playing in harmony, or when you have a family dynamic, getting the family to operate cohesively in a healthy dynamic, you use those powers and integrate those powers into you. So it's not about denying it. You don't want to deny it. You want to integrate it. You want the power of Raphael, because Raphael's power, once integrated, is doubt in the form of discernment. You gain the ability to separate illusion from insight, to find the gold hidden in the shadow. And even the domain of desire transformed. Because remember, unintegrated Raphael can objectify others. But if you integrate Raphael, you can learn how to explore sexuality consciously, with awareness and consent, of course. And I'll explain that in a minute, all right? So,
yeah, because the basic
I am
energy...
so excited that...
No, I'm not. He goes, and consent, of course. That's the whole point. I don't consent to having my body violated, even if it's not sexually at the moment. Oh, I don't want to go back into my past testimonials. But this is what I mean is, that's what the world has forgotten, consent. There is nothing consensual about the laws being applied. Now, people are denouncing them. The doctors are demonstrating, but if it's still force-fed in our mouths, that means it's evil. And there's, like I said, police in person, there is no other word but crime. No, I cannot find another word.
Let's talk about some practical exercises.
See, that's the bottom of the ladder. Imagine how difficult, people, imagine how difficult it is to rise up that ladder, right? We could call it Jacob's Ladder. I don't know, I never researched that, but there was a movie, Jacob's Ladder, amazing movie, it was about war, a bit about different timelines, possible future. By the way, Jacob's Ladder, I think it was called that. That's a movie ahead of its time. It's like mysticism, quantum physics, and war action all at the same time. Amazing. I think it was called Jacob's Ladder. Amazing work. amazing movie. Now you could only get it on video, or I don't know if they have that. Just punch that in. Netflix probably has, not the free channels. I don't think they have it. They always give you conditions to have a free channel. They still get paid, but you don't get that much access like the payable channels.
As always, remember, these exercises are just to get the ball rolling. You can think of exercises to do on your own. Let me bring up my notes here. So here's one, all right? You can start what you may call like an eclipse journal or something like that. So every time you catch yourself dismissing an intuition, like, oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I know a lot of people
Pause
that
and
like
think.
that.
Or dream or whatever. A dream, an intuition, whatever. Pause and think, what if there is truth buried in here somewhere?
Mm.
Even if it might be in a symbolic form or distorted form or jumbled form. Just think to yourself, what is?
He's teaching so much like me. It's scary to think that he's so popular. And if you see the way I'm talking now, again, I don't want to compare, but technically the words I've said are more intricate and more advanced. If you want to look at it from a polarized ego, but because some people might relate to what he's saying better than mine. So here's where you're seeing, where should my channel be? At 92 subscribers? Or at least 300,000-400,000 subscribers, at least. Because what I say defies all reason, but it's logical and intuitive, both at once. Am I making myself clear?
What could be true in that? And then write down possibly what those truths could possibly be while maintaining healthy doubt and skepticism. So you see the difference here? If you are, if Raphael's blocking your way, you just doubt everything. So now by integrating, you're like dipping your toes into the pool of the unconscious. Like, okay, I'm not going to deny everything. And you're just getting used to, like, what if part of this could be true? What could be true there? It's not saying you accept it, but you're being discerning. You're starting to engage with it with curiosity, okay?
Yeah, not only the statistics of the Canadians and things like that, Trump winning when I got most attacked. See, these are things of, what if it is true, police, that's karma giving you the message through those events to stop effing with me? I'll end it there because of many reasons. I just wanted to show you. This is almost an hour. It is an hour almost. So I hope you enjoyed this teaser or something like that. Good vibes. Like, subscribe, share. Let me know in the comments what you think. And that's it. I hope I didn't polarize anybody even more. Again, I just heard, it's funny that while I'm re-recording, because this is editing of it's not a short, it's a 20-minute commented to share. I don't know if I'll just call it what I'll call it. And it's hard for me to work while I'm being literally gassed. Maybe not to death, not yet, but because I don't know how much gas they're going to put. And they are constantly, they just, and they know I could sense it when they're doing things that affect my health. So imagine they want me to make these videos that right now I just heard and at night I just didn't even hear tiptoeing and I was very ill. And now I'm feeling the same way, but I heard that the walking, meaning is they say by hook or by crook, we're going to make your life a living hell. And they are. So congratulations. If you don't see any karma and if you don't doubt that your shadow one day is going to maybe even enslave you to stay on this level, while God forgets who you are now, because even you can't detach from God. You are source and you will always be source. But your avatar, your delusional self that thinks hurting me is valid and is validated, is there any reason for this? No. Not by law, not by spiritual law, not by made-up law, not even by your made-up laws. I'm not offending anybody. And if people abuse the law or stretch it, they say, what he says is a sort of defamation. It's an accusation that he can't prove. No, I could prove it. I could prove it in a polygraph. I could prove it in circumstantial evidence, motive, etc., etc., etc. You'll never see me in a scooter or a car chasing the police for real. Like people say, leave the police alone. Yeah, I'd love to do that, but they don't want to leave me alone. Or they're little helpers that are walking on my head right now, and I'm starting to think, what the heck, I'm feeling sick. So, and even sometimes it could be psychological because they do it so often. I temporarily, for minutes,
at least for minutes, I feel like right now, and before there was no noise at all. And at 3 a.m, there was usually just that I turned my head and awake in bed. Even before I get up and I squeak my bed, I hear like like people actually being like almost like in the hospital. They had a security guard just to check on me. Jesus Christ, as if I was a dangerous person, because they had to go with the narrative that I was dangerous. When they're the dangerous ones that are taking away my freedom, they don't look at that because it's a demonic world. So all things demonic and evil are validated as love and purity and justice and law. But the real law police is gonna get you. Please beware. At least, again, the only thing you can never make up, even in your imagination, is that I never warned you what would happen to Montreal or the world. And it's sad that for one, when one is all and all is one, just for one, imagine if the world ends and this kind of organized crime against me could have maybe tipped the scale to be more compromising instead of ending the planet. Think about that. In my polarized state a few years ago, or even a year ago or something, I said I wished Putin to send a big missile here to blow up the Palais de Justice. I know I shouldn't have said that, but I didn't say I do it. I said I wished it in the moments of suffering, which is valid if you put yourself in my place. After not 1 day or 1 month, after 6 years of torment and 3 years or more of torture. So it's not 3 minutes, it's not 3 hours, it's 3 years. It's a lot, police. Think about it. I should wish the devil for real to come and get you. But you are already impersonating the illusory 3D devil, because things you're doing to me are just not allowed. Not on 3D, they're not allowed legally, they're not allowed international, Amnesty International. And you could easily bypass that by saying with the law, oh, you're crazy, and we'll take away your freedom further. I don't know if you could do it easily, but you could probably come up with something to validate that. But people will have known what I went through, and they're going to be saying, what do we do? What do we do? Do we want that to happen to people we love or ourselves? That's the thing that you have to think about, police. What are people going to do if my life gets even worse than you're making it? And you should stop what you're doing. Like, subscribe, share. Tell me in the comments if you dare. It rhymes. Namaste.